ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another episode of Talkin Tuong. Hello friends in the world. Oh, look, we already have people watching. This is so exciting.
Who? Where?
Well, they're on the internet.
Oh my god.
It's incredible.
That internet?
That internet that I'm staring at right now. This is Talkin Tuong, episode 19, the show where me, Tuong, discusses all great things pop culture and talk about movies, video games, music, not really, sometimes, mostly movies, and chat with you fine folks on Facebook and on the internet. Of course, you can listen to this episode just on your regular podcasting app later, but it's always fun to join in on the discussion. Today, joining me is special guest, first time podcasting ever. We're popping the cherry, if you will.
Audio and video all at once.
I know it's a blast of just new senses for you.
I don't know what's happening right now. I'm
Jesse
scared.
Anderson, everyone.
Yes, thank you.
Yes. How are you?
I'm good. I'm tired.
You're tired?
I've been up since 4.
Oh my god.
For no apparent reason.
Really?
Yeah.
What? No, wait. You woke up for no apparent reason?
I woke up in a scare. Actually, what happened was I promised my friend I'd call him back. We were on a call around midnight. I had to go do something.
Okay.
I fell asleep.
Yeah.
As you do.
Yeah.
And 4 a.m. my body just realized what happened.
Wow.
I panicked.
And you just stayed up. You didn't even try to go back to sleep.
Well, around 5 a.m. I was like, you know what? This isn't happening. I'm going to start my day.
All right.
Which is why I look so sickly and tired.
Hey, man, you look great. You look you're glowing right now, Jesse.
Like a gray glow?
Like a bright, like gemstone glow.
Maybe it's a green glow.
Oh wow! Are you plugging the beer that we're drinking? That we're not sponsored by.
We're not sponsored by Peroni.
Peroni. It's the first time I'm drinking this, so cheers.
Yes.
Cheers to Jesse's first podcast.
First beers, first podcast.
First beer.
First Peroni.
This is your first beer ever.
First beer ever. Oh my god.
Is it hitting you?
Ugh.
Oh wow. Well, hopefully we can get you just completely wasted for this episode.
Yes, with one Peroni.
Well, Jesse, we have so many amazing things to talk about today, and we're going to get right into it. Now, I like to begin the show.
Can I interrupt for a second?
Yeah, of course.
I have a disclaimer for the audience.
Yeah, go ahead.
I'm completely going to reveal my lack of good things to say.
No. You are Jesse Anderson, the person
who
loves movies.
This is correct.
I searched far and wide for someone like you, and I found you, and so if you let the people down, then you can't come back. That's just kind of the rules.
Okay. Please don't hurt me.
No. They'll be gentle. All right. Now, okay, so I have a couple things that I like to write throughout the month, which is just whenever I see a Twitter moment that I'm like, that could belong on the show, then I like to put it in as news. So, of course, we are recording this on October 26th. That's 5 more days before Halloween, which means there's probably a ton of news that we are not covering for the month of October.
We're going to miss a lot.
Something huge is going to happen. I'm going to be like, oh, fuck. But for now...
Wait, we can swear on the show?
Of course we can.
Okay.
Okay. Now, here are a couple things, and you can chime in if you think they matter, but the Birds of Prey trailer came out with Margot Robbie. Looks okay.
Looks okay.
I'd watch it.
You know what? If that trailer came out 3.5 or 4 years ago,
you'd be more excited?
Suicide Squad era, I would be pumped. But
this is
the wound has not healed.
Yes, they have to make up for Suicide Squad. Academy Award-winning Suicide Squad.
Don't mind. Suicide Squad has as many Oscars as Shawshank Redemption, my friends.
Really? Is that true?
Actually, Shawshank Redemption has none.
Oh, that's just... Yeah. Oh, God.
Yeah.
Moving on. I saw a trailer for 6 Underground, which is Michael Bay's new movie with Ryan Reynolds.
Yes, notable for being a Netflix movie.
That's true, yeah. It could be something.
I think it's their biggest budget yet.
Really?
Mm-hmm. Well, I mean, look at the trailer.
I mean, it's explosions, so...
Many explosions.
We have Clerks 3 finally happening.
Actually?
Yes. So Kevin Smith is finally doing Clerks 3.
I'm a big wow.
Yeah.
I stumbled.
Yeah.
I'm already shaking.
You're already shaking because you have
I'm a big Kevin Smith fan.
Me too.
Yeah.
And he finished a script for Clerks 3 years ago, but he's redoing it all. So I think that's really exciting because he wasn't happy with the ending and the studios didn't want to buy it.
This has got to be his third stab at Clerks 3.
I know. It's been a long time coming, but it's finally happening. little humble brag. I'm actually gonna go see Kevin Smith in a few months. So
Are you gonna see Jay and Silent Bob reboot?
I am, but it's like a Q&A and stuff, so it should be cool.
Can I come?
If you want to come to Ottawa.
Yeah, I want to see him live so badly.
Yeah, well, we will talk after.
Okay. Okay.
This is in no
Stuff
particular
me in your
order.
backpack.
This is in no particular order.
Okay.
We have Kamala Khan for the Avengers game coming out. You don't like video games or comic books.
I like video games, but I don't know what Kamala Khan is.
Stretchy Girl, Miss Marvel. Never mind.
I'm
Moving on.
I'm scared.
You're scared.
I'm sorry, audience.
There's more Picard trailers that are coming out. And were you ever a Trekkie?
Sadly, no.
Neither was I.
I have a lot of
Keish joined for a bit.
Where's Quiche?
Keish is in the chat, but she hasn't said anything yet. Hi, Keish.
Hey.
Now,
Hello.
let's see, what else we have? We have Rick and Morty season 4 coming out.
Wait, I feel like we're going at this insane pace right
Well,
now.
that's what we're doing because we have 3 main topics
Jesus,
to talk
okay.
about. We just rifle through the news.
Okay.
Rick and Morty season 4. Excited?
I'm excited. I like that show.
I'm very excited.
It's very good.
It's gonna be great. Big Mouth season 2 came out.
I have not watched Big Mouth.
Oh, sorry, season 3. It came out. You've never seen Big Mouth?
No.
You should.
Okay.
It's
I like Nick Kroll.
Yep. It's
Maya Rudolph, is she the other one?
Yep.
Yeah. Okay.
Yep.
To be
John
honest,
Mulaney.
Yeah.
Yep.
The subject matter doesn't really interest me that much.
Well, you've gone through puberty, I think, so I think you can relate
right.
to it
That's
in
right.
some sense.
But do I really want to revisit those eras?
Hi, Keish.
Oh, hey.
Yeah, she said hi. I think so. It's very, very funny.
Okay.
Now, what else do we have? The PlayStation 5 is coming end of 2020.
I heard some details about this.
It's called the PlayStation 5.
Who saw that coming?
Not me.
Me neither.
I thought they would have done like the iPhone thing where they just throw in a Roman numeral for no reason other than just PlayStation. But
Yikes.
no.
That would be bad.
Do you know Fortnite got a chapter 2?
Didn't they destroy the world and now there's a new land?
I don't play Fortnite.
Yeah?
I don't.
Me
I've
neither.
never actually played it at all. I mean, I follow video games quite extensively, but I just never played it because I was already afraid to lose against, 10-year-olds who were way better than me.
I was at a buddy's house and I probably grabbed the controller for like 10 minutes
Yeah.
before I got sniped. And
Did you have fun
I had
for
fun.
those 10 minutes?
I had fun.
They destroyed the world for like hours or like a day or something where people could not actually like play the game and it was just like a black hole
That's
that you
insane.
saw, and I think that's such a cool fucking thing that
That's
could happen
bold,
in like
yeah.
in a video game that's as big as Fortnite.
I think to deny your audience is one of the most powerful things.
Apparently they got a lot of complaints from parents being like, my kid can't play Fortnite. But I mean,
Parents complained?
parents complain on behalf of children because children don't know how to reach out to tech support.
Secretly, the parents were like, thank you, God.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you.
Moving on, we have a couple news for the Batman movie coming out. Namely,
The Pattinson one?
yes, that's right. Mainly that they've casted 2 people now, 2 additional people, Zoe Kravitz as Catwoman.
Cool.
And we have Paul Dano as the Riddler.
Oh, that's a good casting.
And I was like, wow,
That's
that guy
a really good casting.
Yeah, that's really, really good.
Cool.
So I think I'm more and more intrigued about this movie now.
That's so good.
Yeah.
I heard rumors about Jonah Hill as the Riddler.
Yeah,
I think this is a better
he bailed
match.
out. He bailed out. He's
Oh.
not part of the project anymore. Or maybe he never was. He just...
Rumors.
It was all rumors. Moving on, we have a Gemini Man that came out. Apparently lost a ton of money. Like, it's like Will Smith's biggest flop. And even though Will Smith hasn't made that many truly great movies in the last couple of years, like, his stardom alone used to allow box offices to still, like, skyrocket. Because it'd be like, Will Smith's in it.
Yeah.
We're going to make a ton of money.
He's one of the last big movie stars.
And this movie made, like, truly not a lot of money. It didn't look good.
I heard it sucked, although I have to say I'm interested to see it just because of the technical aspect.
Yeah,
right?
I just think they should have made him either look older and look younger. Like the difference between his old and young self is not that apparent because Will Smith looks young.
It's true. You got to stress that technology. Pick someone like Willem Dafoe.
Yeah,
Right?
Yeah, and then make him like super young.
Exactly.
Which would be very freaky.
Well, hey, we're going to get our prayers answered when Irishman...
That's true. It's gonna be a long ass movie.
Wait, can I say one more thing?
Yeah.
Are there any HFR theaters near us?
I don't know. We'll have to look into that.
I've tried and I just can't find the answer.
I'm gonna guess no. I guess no.
What's up with this town?
Let's see.
Do they know where we live?
Not yet, because we live on the internet.
Oh.
People. Watchmen came out, the TV show.
Man, I meant to watch it the other night, and I just haven't gotten to it yet.
Neither have I. Been too busy watching anime. But Watchmen came out.
You know, it's weird. Like, I had no interest in this show, and then the episode dropped, and just something awoke in me. I'm like, I got to see this show.
Wow.
It's not like I read any reviews. I just heard that it came out, and
Hey,
I
not
think
yet.
You know what?
No.
I think it was the nostalgia of remembering that movie.
You never read the graphic novel?
I read the graphic novel,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
the movie, it was just such a big thing for me at
Mm-hmm.
the time. And I had so much fun watching it. I mean, I don't love that movie,
Yeah,
but
I didn't love it.
there was a
either, but-
nostalgia hit.
I hear ya. I hear ya. What else do we have here? The last Star Wars trailer came out. I didn't actually see it, but it came out. Blew people's minds, probably.
Are you avoiding it?
I'm avoiding it. I've seen enough.
Okay.
I've seen enough. I'm very excited,
Cool.
but I've seen enough.
I don't know. Should we? I don't know how open I should be about Star Wars right now. I know it's a
Just
sensitive
give me
topic for
your
the
give me
audience.
your either thumbs up or thumbs down.
Thumbs medium.
Okay, that's fair. When we do the Star
on,
Wars
hang-
episode,
Yeah.
you can come back and we
Yes,
can talk more
okay,
about it.
Sweet.
Modern Warfare came out. They redid Modern Warfare. It's a reboot of
Is
a
it-
game that's not even 10 years old
So
yet.
it's not a remake.
No, it's like a reboot. They're like, let's call it Call of Duty Modern Warfare, but they just rejigged it to be, I guess, a new version. It's like a soft reboot.
Yeah. I mean, those games are great, and I want to play it to see just what reboot means.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, I know Price is back,
Yeah,
but he's the only thing that came back.
I think so, and I don't even know if it's the same price. To be honest with you,
It's a different voice actor, but it's
Yeah.
the same character.
Yeah, I don't know. It's very confusing to me that I think they just ran out of like ideas.
Let's take this IP and the character everyone knows and just make another one.
Yeah, that's exactly what happened. Cloak and Dagger.
Kind of like one of the movies we're going to be talking about today.
Very interesting.
Yes.
Cloak and Dagger got canceled. That's a Marvel show.
Animated?
No, it was a live action show because Marvel has a bunch of hands in different like studio pies, basically, and a lot of them got canceled throughout the way. Like Netflix's Marvel line got canceled. Some of Hulu's stuff got canceled. I don't really know where Cloak and Dagger where
There was
met,
Marvel
but-
on Hulu?
Yeah, I think that's the Runaways.
Where have
and
I
the
been?
Gifted. I don't watch anything on Hulu, so
We don't get it in Canada.
yeah, we don't. I'm very excited for this. BoJack Horseman season 6.
Oh,
The
yes.
first half just came out. I love BoJack Horseman.
It's so good.
If there wasn't so many things that came out this month, we would have been talking probably about this.
Wait,
type
are you
of
saying it came out already?
stuff. It just came out
When?
like 2 days ago?
Oh,
Yeah.
I'm going to binge that tomorrow probably.
Living with Yourself came out. That's the Paul Rudd.
Yes.
Not Gemini Man, but Gemini Man.
I saw episode 1 and I look forward to finishing it.
Yeah, I love Paul Rudd.
Yeah.
Lighthouse came out, which you saw instead of one of our movies.
Yes.
Which I'm disappointed that you didn't do your homework, but I really want to see The Lighthouse. Again,
I've got the Lighthouse scoop.
thumbs up or thumbs down?
Thumbs up, baby.
All right, okay. That's all I need to hear.
Thumbs
Jojo Rabbit came out, which is
Oh.
Taika Waititi's new movie,
I know
and
you're
I
a big
really,
fan.
really wanted to see that. Yes, I'm a huge fan. Again, that's another one of the topics that we could have discussed this month, but there were so many other big kind of movies that came out.
Did you see Jojo Rabbit?
I have not,
Oh,
and I'm looking forward to seeing it. I have Call of Duty Modern Warfare again, but
Again?
that's
It's
how,
that important.
I don't care for it. Outer Worlds came out. That's a video game, and apparently it's really good. I shouldn't gloss it over. Apparently it's very good. But Dolomite Is My Name came out, which just a couple days ago, I think it was. And that's the Eddie Murphy, Wesley Snipes, Keegan-Michael Key, Craig Robinson, Snoop Dogg, Titus Burgess, Chris Rock, and much more movie. So
Solid cast.
that's a crazy cast.
That's an insane cast.
Eddie Murphy alone,
Yeah.
that's nuts to me because he has not done anything in years.
Nothing quality, at least.
I don't think he's actually, I think he just retired for
Really?
a long time.
Oh, so it's a comeback.
I guess.
Is it
Because I remember
good?
I have not seen it yet. I've not seen it yet. Apparently it's really good.
Breaking news, everybody. We have not seen it yet. You know what? I'm actually... it's not a comedy, is it?
No, I don't know.
I think it's not straight comedy. I'm sure there's a bit of humor in it.
Yeah,
I mean, all those guys are pretty much comedians.
I don't know anything about it,
Okay.
but I already, in my mind, think it's something like Black Klansman, where it's like funny but also really serious.
It's not like Black Dynamite.
No, definitely not.
Okay. See, I'm a big fan of Titus Burgess.
Yes.
Have you seen Kimmy Schmidt?
I have.
Yeah, so I really want to see more what he can do.
All right.
Yeah.
And last but not least, in our news portion of this podcast, Kanye West put out a new album called Jesus is King. It's less than 30 minutes. It's very preachy.
I thought it was a movie.
No, it's an album. It's an album. It's on Apple Music right now.
Oh, wow.
I don't know.
Jesus is King, huh?
Jesus is King. It's very.
Does the king walk?
You'll have to listen to find out.
Did you get that reference? Mm-mm. Jesus walks.
Who's Jesus? all right. Bye, everyone. Okay, no. So let's get into it. We have so much to discuss already, and we've been talking for so long, but we haven't even gotten to the meat of the discussion, Jesse.
No.
So are you ready?
I think I am.
All right, so this is what we have here.
Ooh.
So we have Joker, El Camino, a Breaking Bad movie, and Zombieland Double Tap. Now, there's a reason why all three of these movies were chosen for this month's topic. So, there could be better movies than some of these movies. You could argue that maybe Lighthouse is probably better than these movies. Some of them, maybe, I don't know. But these movies all came with such huge hype behind them that we had to talk about it. We have to talk about it. So let's get back into it. I'm going to throw up a little thing here. Boom. Some live editing here.
Whoa.
Wow.
Whoa. Wait, hang on. What's going on? Oh, trailer.
Just have, and little live. Look at that.
This is fantastic.
You like that?
I like this.
This is what happens when you don't have a producer. Now, Jesse...
Hey, you're a real professional.
You can be a producer if you'd like, but I can't pay you money.
I'll take it.
Okay. Jesse, I'm gonna start saying some stuff, and don't look at my notes here because
okay.
I want it to be a surprise on us, right?
Can they see us or
they can see everything?
Yeah,
And if they wanna talk, then they'll comment. And if you guys seen Joker, just know that at some point we probably will be spoiling all these movies.
We can spoil.
We can, but I don't want to start with spoilers.
Do we call out? Okay, spoilers starting now.
I'll lead that part here. So first of all, Joker, starring Joaquin Phoenix, Robert De Niro, Zazie Beetz, and director Todd Phillips, which is he's most well known for his The Hangover trilogy, Due Date, Old School, all these comedy movies, and now he's shifting focus into much more serious, I guess, movies. And this movie does that where it's very much trying to be a serious comic book movie. They're really trying to be like, look at this. This is what comic book movies can be, and that's what Todd Phillips. You can really get that sense of like this is what he's trying to go for.
For sure.
Right now, Jesse, the worldwide gross of this movie is ridiculous. It's at $776 million.
Wow.
It came out just a couple weeks ago.
That's insane.
It is the the biggest grossing R-rated movie. It just toppled over Deadpool, which was the number one.
Ever?
Wow.
Wow.
Yeah. Isn't that nuts?
And Deadpool toppled, what, Matrix or something?
Yeah.
Jeez.
Yeah.
Crazy.
Had a $96 million opening weekend. It's incredible. It's crazy. I mean, like, people obviously really want to see this movie. There was a lot of hype behind it. Now, before we get into all that stuff surrounding the movie, I'll just give you a quick synopsis of what I found on the internet.
Okay.
All right. So we have in Gotham City, mentally troubled comedian Arthur Fleck is disregarded and mistreated by society. He then embarks on a downward spiral of revolution and bloody crime. This path brings him face to face with his alter ego, the Joker. Now, I'm gonna hand this to you, Jesse. What are your general thoughts of the movie? How did you feel?
I enjoyed it.
Yeah?
Yeah. So I totally agree with you what you said about what Todd Phillips is going for.
Yep.
Is this just looping, by the way?
It has like an all trailers thing.
Oh, sweet. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, I really like his style. I mean, it's been a while since I've seen The Hangover, but I always appreciated what he was doing behind the camera.
Right.
Same with Due Date.
Yeah. See, I didn't like Due Date.
No.
But I was.
It's not.
I was not sober when I watched Due Date.
Fair enough.
So.
Like, I can't say I've ever watched a Todd Phillips film and loved it.
Yes.
Right? But I never classified his name in my mind as some hack.
Right.
He's always been talented on some level.
Right.
So when they announced he was going to direct this, I was actually very intrigued.
Yes.
Whereas, I tell my friends who weren't really movie people, oh, it's the Hangover guy, and they'd kind of roll their eyes.
Right.
But he pulled it off.
He pulled it off.
He's very talented.
I'm curious to, in your thoughts about how much did you like this movie, and more like, you don't actually like too many comic book movies, right? Like, this is not really your wheelhouse. Not that you dislike them, but it's not really your, like, I don't know, flavor. You're not seeking out comic book movies like me, for example, who, reads a bunch of comic books.
Oh, you read the comic books too?
I love comics, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I've never really read comics. I owned one as a kid.
Yeah.
It was a Batman comic, actually.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I don't think the Joker was in any of the stories.
Yeah.
But, yeah, I will watch, I saw Avengers Endgame.
Yeah.
Right? I think I saw all the Avengers in theaters.
Right.
I just have this superhero fatigue.
Yeah.
I'd say. I think most people are.
Yeah, and I think so too. And that's fair. I mean,
Yeah.
I have a high tolerance for it, but I do understand, like, superheroes are kind of everywhere right now. Now, this not being a superhero movie, just based on comics, how do you feel like, it breaks new ground on the genre, or was it for the superhero genre, or was it just a comic book movie in your eyes?
Honestly, so it was not a comic book movie in my eyes.
Yeah.
I take issue with calling it a superhero movie. Because there isn't really a superhero in it.
Nope.
And it's barely... I mean, is this based on a comic book? Because when I was watching it, I didn't feel like this is a comic book, right? It was sold to me as an original film.
It is original story, as far as I know. It's definitely taking, like, beats from the comics in the way that, like... characteristics of Joker, but this is like definitely an original take on this character.
So,
which we should mention too that this is not part of the DC extended universe.
Yeah.
The DC
it's a one-off.
is being very smart, I think, now finally, where they are basically, hopefully, just separating stories, no longer concerned about, like, how does this tie into the Justice League, or how does this tie into Batman versus Superman? Like, it doesn't care for that.
Aquaman shows up.
Yeah, none of that shit.
Yeah.
Which I like about this movie.
I do too.
Yeah.
This is exactly what I've wanted during my superhero fatigue.
Yeah.
It's like, just give me a one-off. Give me something for adults,
Yeah.
grown-ups. And, yeah, I loved it.
Right.
Well... loved it. I loved what it's doing.
I appreciate.
I did like the movie.
Yeah, I liked it too, and I appreciate a lot of what it tries to go for. Now, does it land on some of those things? I'm not sure. I think one of the most fascinating things about this movie and discussing with people is that it is so polarizing for people.
Really.
So the general. First of all, let's back up and say this movie won. Golden Lion, which is a huge deal, right? Like, that's it was winning film festivals all over the place. So there was a lot of hype going into the movie. Now, once people saw it, the critic rate of like 90%, I think, shrunk down to less than 70%, like 60% on Rotten Tomatoes. Now, take that with a grain of salt because it's Rotten Tomatoes. But that's quite a difference.
That's a big drop.
Now, people... From what I've read, and I think the most fascinating thing about this movie is other people's takes on the movie. I have my own opinion, of course, but I just found it interesting what people took away from this movie. Because what I deemed as the theme of the movie, someone else would be like, no, it's a different theme altogether. Which I thought was like, oh, that's super interesting to me. Now, what did you think of... Like, we don't have to get too deep into it, but what did you think the movie was about, I guess?
What was it about? You mean, what was the message it was
was it trying to send a message? Was it just a character study? Was it the worst opinions, I think, are the ones that are like, it is promoting incel culture and, like, feeding, like, the beast of, like, negative people to incite violence in the real world. I don't like that take.
I didn't come away with that at all. Like, I didn't think it glorified this at all or... promoted it.
No.
And the fear that it would inspire violence is crazy to me. I mean, who knows if that's going to happen, but there have been way more violent and disturbing movies than this.
Well, something about Joker, the character, people really attach to, which is very fascinating because he is probably the most popular villain in mediums like ever. A lot of people see the Joker and they somehow relate to his very calculated insanity in a lot of versions. Like this version of Joker is a little bit different. He's more like depressed and who knows if he's actually the Joker. But I find it fascinating to think that people think that this movie is like trying to glorify this character or say that this is the hero of the story. Because this version of Joker does some truly awful shit.
Yeah.
They treat him terribly, which you do empathize about, which I do think is interesting to like empathize with the villain. But I don't think in any part of the movie they're like, he's a good guy or like
exactly
like he's done some unforgivable shit in the movie and he deserves any bad things that happen to him because of it.
It's true. I don't know if he deserves it all, right?
No, he's definitely bullied by society.
Yeah.
Which is definitely part of it. And I think that's part of the themes of this movie is to talk about like actually it relates really well with like the real world and stuff like that and how society can fail a person and how that can drive them over the edge and stuff. But I don't think it's trying to tell you that like it's okay to be violent. I think it's just this is the result of
for sure
people letting him down. And he also has a big mental illness. Like they pointed out pretty clearly that there's something wrong with him. Yeah.
We can go more into this in spoilers, but I think there are things we can mention that really prove what you're saying.
Let me see. Let me read this really quickly here because this is my favorite take on this movie here. Is by Josh Brolin, Thanos, if you will. And I really thought this was an eloquent way to talk about this movie or what the themes were. And I agree with it in many ways. So he wrote here, and my iPod is frozen. No, it's not. Okay. To appreciate Joker, I believe you have to have either gone through something traumatic in your lifetime, and in brackets, and I believe most of us have, or understand somewhere in your psyche what true compassion is, which usually comes from having gone through something traumatic, unfortunately. An example of dangerous compassion would be to, say, make a film made about the fragility of the human psyche and make it so raw, so brutal, so balletic that by the time you leave the theater, you not only don't want to hurt anything, but you desperately want an answer and a solution to the violence and mental health issues that have spun out of control around us. This film makes you hurt, and only in pain do we ever want to change. It's all in the irony of trauma, a fine line between the resentment of wanting to hurt society back for raping you of a decent life, for not protecting you, and accepting what feels like alien feelings with softening to those others who seem freakish in our era of judgment and digital damnation. Like kids in middle school, man, they can just be mean, for no reason, and sometimes those awful little cliquey kids breed an evil in someone that rages much later, when everyone pretends we are all back to normal, when we all thought it had just manned up and gone away. We have a habit of hating and ostracizing and dividing and sweeping our problems under the rug. Joker is simply lifting the rug and looking underneath it. Nothing more, nothing less. It's there. Yeah, I thought that was like a really interesting take, and like we don't have to dissect that or at all. But I just thought that was like a really well put. Whether you agree with it or not, obviously he thought really clearly about it.
Yeah, that's a deep Instagram post.
Very deep, more deep than my Instagram post. That's for sure. Mine's like, check it out. I'm on a bridge.
Hashtag no filter.
Visco cam.
Yes, that's about me too.
Anyways, last couple things that I want to talk about before we get into real spoilers is what do you think about Joaquin's performance? Do you think there is Oscar buzz around this? Do you think he will be nominated? And if so, what is his chances of winning?
He'll get nominated.
Yeah.
I think that's a certainty. Win? I doubt it. I don't think he's going to win. Not to say he's not worthy of winning. It's an insane performance. Like
it is.
I mean that positively. It's very good. He's the whole movie. I mean, every scene has him in it.
It's true. He is, to almost a fault, there's no real other character to latch onto. It is basically him for 95% of this movie.
Well, that's a trope of film noir, so obvious influence there.
Yeah. I agree with you. I'd be curious to see if he wins or not. I mean, Heath Ledger won posthumously. Humously?
Humus?
Posthumous?
I think it's posthumous.
That's probably right.
Yeah. Drink up, tongue.
But, like, what do you feel about his ranking in Jokers? Like, not you don't have to rank all the Jokers here, but where do you think he falls? Do you
I think we're gonna have to rank all the Jokers here. Okay.
All right.
I did not prepare for that.
Give me your top 3 Jokers. You don't even have to.
That's not even okay. So Heath, no order, right?
Yeah.
Okay, well Heath, Jack Nicholson, and Joaquin.
All right.
Yeah.
Not even. Oh, I wasn't counting animated. Mark Hamill.
Oh, Mark Hamill, he's good. He's very good.
Yeah.
Wow, that's a deep cut. I haven't seen that show in ages.
I would give Mark Hamill the Jack Nicholson spot.
Wow.
But I would put Joaquin there because Joaquin acts his dick off in this movie,
yes.
and it shows. Like he gives an insane performance.
Acts his dick off.
Yeah.
I've never heard that before.
You can use it. You can use that.
Okay.
What did you think of the use of Robert De Niro in the movie?
That was probably my biggest disappointment with this movie. He felt very shafted. Like, not, I mean, the character certainly, but I don't know why they cast. Well, I think I know why they cast him, but from an objective standpoint, they shouldn't have cast him. Like, what is he doing in this?
That's fair. I don't think he's
doing
anything
Are we
crazy.
spoiler territory? No, we're not in spoilers.
We're not in spoilers
Okay.
yet. Yeah.
Let's just say that they could have gotten anyone to do that role. So you probably know that Mark Maron is in this movie. Mm-hmm. Mark Maron could have been in that role.
Sure.
Just as fine. Like, just as well.
Yeah, I think they just needed like that big that big star to be that host, I suppose. But it didn't have to be Robert De Niro. I think the reason why it was Robert De Niro.
And here's what I'm thinking too. Go for it.
Well, like Taxi Driver, King of Comedy,
exactly.
Like that's like.
Let's get something to tie it together.
Yes, Todd Phillips has talked extensively of like this
he's
is like
that
this movie is supposed to take a lot of beats from those 2 movies.
What's it called? What's that word for when you make a sequel? Oh, a legacy sequel. It's kind of like this.
Where legacy sequel.
You bring someone in. Yeah, you know, like Crystal Skull was a legacy.
Oh, interesting. Let's see.
Never heard that?
No, but I like it. Before we get into the true spoilers here, one last thing. What did you think of the tie-in? Actually, we can start talking about the spoilers from this jumping point here.
Spoilers starting now.
Spoiler City. What did you think of the tie-in with the Batman, the actual Batman stuff? Once they started saying, this is Bruce Wayne, this is Thomas Wayne, the ending, what did you think of that?
So as soon as Thomas Wayne was mentioned, all right, I think he comes up first, Thomas Wayne, right?
Yeah.
It's like, oh, that's kind of cool. It just kind of ties it into that universe. Like, this is the Joker, okay, guys? This isn't just someone named Joker. This is Batman.
Yeah.
Right? And then when Joaquin, what's his character's name again?
Arthur Fleck.
Arthur, yeah. So Arthur Fleck, he goes to
Wayne Manor.
Wayne Manor,
yeah.
And there's young Bruce Wayne, and he's interacting with him. And I was thinking, why did the movie feel compelled to loop it in this much? I thought the Wayne reference would be just kind of like an Easter egg, almost. But I mean, it didn't ruin the movie for me.
No, you were just curious about the decision, right?
And then, so here's the big spoiler: when at the very end they show the Wayne parents' murder, they could have excised that, and the movie would be exactly the same for me.
Yeah.
I was not disappointed. I was just surprised
that they chose to do it.
That they chose to include this. Because so much of it is, like you said, it's a standalone. It's not tied into the DCEU. Did we really need to see that again?
I think it's interesting, and because we don't, and hopefully we don't, although now it's like, it made so much money that it's hard to see that they won't try to make a sequel, and I hope they don't. I really don't, because they say the end at the end of the movie, right? But to me, it's like, I'm fine with the ending of him thinking of Bruce and whatever. As long as that's an alternate history or like different dimension, like a different world, right? Like, that's fine. That's a different universe altogether, and I'm okay with that happening. But
the inclusion of the Waynes and the way it ties into Arthur Fleck's story, you know, is he related to the Waynes, you know, by blood? Loved that stuff.
Yeah,
like
that's interesting to me.
A big twist on the mythos.
Yeah,
mythos. But it was just the scene of the murder that I didn't dislike it. I just don't know why they felt compelled to shoot that and include it.
Right.
Just because to that point, the movie had been so all about itself.
Right. And the last thing I want to talk about with this movie is the ending. I want to kind of dive into it a little bit.
Yeah, okay.
Because this is where people start to differ in opinions greatly, right? A lot of people...
Can I ask, do you read online opinions and theories?
Depends on if I'm curious to know more about it.
Like for this one, though.
For this one, I did.
Okay. But I guess I can state I don't really do that myself.
I like to... If there's a movie that has open-ended ending, then I want to know what other people's opinion is. If it's very cut and dry, then I don't need to know. Go ahead.
Opinions or theories?
It ends up being both because they're usually in the same article.
Okay. Yeah.
Now, I'm not going to go through every single theory that I came across. I'll just say this is how I felt at the end of the movie.
Sure.
At the end of the movie, I said, is this actually the Joker? At the end, because the way I interpreted the ending was that we have a false, an unreliable narrator who is the Joker. We already know that things that happen in the movie, some of it doesn't happen, and they spell it very clearly with how he interacts with his neighbor, and you see a bunch of scenes with them together going on dates and all that stuff, but that never happened. With that in mind, everything else that we see in the movie can be fake.
True. Yeah.
And the way he talks in the ending, in that that really white room, or he's talking to psychiatrist or whatever in the asylum, if you will, made it seem like possibly that this A was either all in his head, or B that you're just not supposed to know for sure what actually happened, what part stops happening. Like at the very climax of the movie, things start to get really ramped up and ridiculous. Spoilers when Robert De Niro's character gets shot in the face. But what happens after that point when he gets saved from the car crash and on the police car and everyone's celebrating him, right? Did that happen?
You think everything pre that was real?
Maybe.
Okay.
If I had to guess, I would be like, okay, everything before that probably was real, maybe. But him just so happening to they pull him out of the car and they start celebrating him as like an icon. Like, did that happen? I'm not sure. And I think that's kind of an interesting thought in my mind. A lot of people when they watch this movie, they also thought everything that happened.
Call me old fashioned, but that's how I interpreted this movie. Like what I see on screen, I take it for the truth. That's what's happening, right? Minus the very obvious things like, fantasy, and then he snaps back to reality, right?
Yeah.
Obviously that isn't happening, but I took every scene as literal.
Yeah. And that's fine. A lot of people did, and everyone's all over the place when it comes to what actually happened at the end of this movie, and what other stuff happened in between, which we don't have to dissect. But I just think that's a very fascinating thing of I took the ending so differently than you did.
So if let's say the intention was that it was all in his head. Like, let's just imagine that was Todd Phillips' take, right? What do you think that changes about the message of this story?
Don't
you feel like it kind of negates all the emotion that went into it and all the feelings about this is what society has done to this dude? If it's all in his mind, it's like, well, what was the point of showing us neglect? That's
the problem. Is I think there's parts of, not the problem, but I think that's the discussion.
So serious right now.
I think there is parts of it where it does happen, and then there's the mental illness part of it as well. So it's kind of like a mix between the two.
Okay.
And I'm not sure where, like, message wise, I'm not sure if it changes because of that.
I feel like. So I hadn't heard that theory before, but now playing it back in my mind.
The ending's very dreamy, is kind of how I see it.
It is dreamy, yeah. But if we take it to mean that the whole movie was a fantasy, it really makes it less impactful. Yeah. Than if it was.
I don't know if the whole movie was a fantasy. That's the thing is.
Okay.
It would be probably the very end is what I would imagine.
So you think maybe he got caught right after the murder, and then everything else after that is just he got knocked out and he's
exactly. Okay. That's how I would take it. Other people thought differently, I think, too. But it's funny because if you pay attention to his last line there, where he says, "You wouldn't get it," it's
Yeah.
it's like, why would he say that? That's a very specific thing to say. That's not like a.
It's true.
It makes that it just brings up the question, which I don't think I want an answer for. It's one of those things where I'm like, I'm fine with like just playing the like, ooh, let's like talk theory kind of game. But he's just like, he just says you wouldn't get it, and I'm just like, all right,
Okay.
interesting choice of words. And then he starts running around the building very slowly and dreamy, and it's just like, okay, like this, who knows, right? And like a lot of Joker origin stories, like he could be not the real Joker. He could also be the person who inspires the real Joker. Because if you think about this Joker, his big difference is he's not that smart. He doesn't seem like the person who can rob a bank.
It's true.
And like perform like his master heist.
Yeah.
He's someone who would fumble through that.
That's why I really like this movie, because that's the Joker we know, and it's not what this character is.
Yeah.
Everything he does in this movie that is grand is all very unintentional. I dug that so much.
Me too.
Yeah.
Anyways.
So that's what I mean by, it's a cool theory, but it kind of weakens the movie. Yeah.
Interesting.
I'm not a fan of that theory.
You're not a fan of it?
No. He inspired the Joker, but he's not the Joker.
Yeah, there's tons of that stuff in there. I don't know if it... Yeah, well, whatever. We could talk more about it afterwards, but...
Speaking of theories, this is the only thing that I've seen, and I don't know what it means or what have you, but apparently every time there's a clock on screen, the time is 11:11.
Oh, in the movie?
Yeah. Someone took screenshots.
Apparently Todd Phillips, and this is the last Easter egg that I'll say too, is that apparently the last laugh in the movie is different intentionally than any other laugh in the movie.
When does he laugh? When's the last laugh?
At the very end, like when he's laughing.
Is he running yet?
Pre-running, when he's just talking to that person.
And he says you don't.
That was like a true laugh. Because everything else that he's done before the movie was by his illness, which I think is genius the way they handle that.
I love that.
But everything else was like, he doesn't want to laugh, but he's laughing. But that last laugh is like, it's a true laugh. And you can just take it for what it is. That's what Todd Phillips says. He's just like, just do what you want with that, or like kind of run free with that information. I'm just like, that's interesting.
Cool.
Yeah, it's just neat.
Did it sound different to you, or is he just saying?
I didn't know.
No,
I couldn't tell. So, but I would be curious to rewatch it, and I think that's the question. Would you rewatch this movie?
I would rewatch it. Absolutely.
I would love to rewatch this movie and kind of just see if I can see it under a different lens this time. Really pay attention to it. It really made me want to start smoking cigarettes. There's like every frame is someone smoking a cigarette.
Okay.
You didn't notice that?
I didn't notice that.
You should pay attention. Every scene, Joker's lighting up a cigarette.
Harsh tongue. Harsh.
Hey, man.
I paid attention.
All right, we're going to the next movie.
Okay.
All right, okay. Let's just check here.
No
Perfect.
bathroom breaks here?
No bathroom breaks on the pod cavern.
What about a refill break?
A refill break. Yeah. Go get it. Yeah. Pull out the beer. This is a beer
Peroni
drinking.
for Hugh.
Well, you have to. If you can open it for me, that'd be awesome. Okay.
Yes.
I'm gonna make this smaller here. Jesse, I want to talk about
who's on the chat right now.
A lot of people.
A lot of people.
A lot of people are on the chat.
Couple 100,000.
Couple 100,000. And
I'm embarrassing myself.
This is to them.
To them.
Cheers.
I'll cheers you when you open your next one. Okay.
You can open this for me.
Oh, that's my responsibility.
If you can put your attention to El Camino, a Breaking Bad movie. Now, this has a bunch of trailers for it, but they're all very small, so I'll have to keep switching back and forth. Okay. I just like to have a trailer out here so people can see the majesty of these teaser trailers, I love these teaser trailers because they're the type of trailers that don't reveal anything about the movie, and I'm into that.
I just realized your keys are completely probably ruining the sound here.
Okay.
Apologies.
That's live podcasting, baby.
Live podcasting.
El Camino, a Breaking Bad movie, starring Aaron Paul, director Vince Gilligan, who's also done Better Call Saul, which I've only watched 2 seasons of. I really like it.
Dude.
I know. The way Netflix releases movies or TV shows, it really drives me nuts because they don't release the last season until the new season comes out. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And unless I want to rent the movie or the seasons or find it another way, then that's the only way I can watch it.
Buy an episode as it airs, man. It's worth it.
So much money.
So good.
Let's see here. this. Okay, so Breaking Bad. The finale came out on September 29th, 2013. Think about that.
6 years ago.
Long time ago. This is a long time coming. A lot of people didn't think this movie would ever make a sequel to this.
I know.
I didn't think so either.
We weren't asking for it.
Nobody was asking for it. And let's see here. It picks up right at the ending of Breaking Bad here. So, of course, we're going to talk spoilers of Breaking Bad if you've never seen it, for sure.
Shame if you haven't.
Yes. So be careful, I guess. Like, if you want to watch Breaking Bad and you're like, I haven't watched it, then go watch that and then come back to this episode.
The thing is, like, don't watch this movie if you haven't seen Breaking Bad.
100%.
Nothing will make sense to you.
At all.
Yeah. It rewards the fans.
That's right.
And no one else.
That's right. And let's see here. Synopsis. In the wake of his dramatic escape from captivity, Jesse must come to terms with his past in order to forge some kind of future. That's all it is.
I have to come to terms with my past?
Jesse!
That's me.
Jesse, what did you think of this movie?
Loved it.
Yes.
Unabashedly.
Yes.
So good.
I think it is a fantastic movie that I didn't even want. I was scared of a Breaking Bad movie because to me, Breaking Bad, truly, I have two shows that I think are perfect.
Okay.
Breaking Bad and Parks and Recreation. I think those two are
interesting.
perfect shows.
Parks and Rec is sweet.
Yes.
Yeah.
And Breaking Bad is like, it's just this holy grail of movie or TV shows for me. And, some people might disagree, but you're wrong. Now, what did you think of, what are your, not just your general thoughts about, but what did you think of the pace and the events of this movie? Because it's definitely...
Yeah, so it doesn't have your standard 3-act structure of a movie, right?
Yeah.
It felt like just a giant episode of Breaking Bad.
Yes.
Which, you could argue that doesn't make a great format for a film.
Yeah.
But I don't think they cared, right? Because Vince Gilligan has such a specific directorial style.
Yes.
Right? And he sticks with it, and, whatever. If it doesn't work as a movie plot, right?
Yeah.
Like I said, it's not made for someone to just drop in and be like, oh, cool, a movie.
Yeah.
It's for Breaking Bad fans.
That's right.
So if you're going to make a giant 2-hour episode, go for it. And I actually loved that that's what it was.
Yeah.
Because it took me back. Because if I could have asked for anything, it was just, hey, let's give us Breaking Bad the lost episodes.
Yes.
This is what this felt like.
Yes, it was a proper epilogue to the finale. I agree that, to me, it felt like a 2-episode story, which I'm not mad about. Some people that I follow on Twitter and some friends of mine were, and this is the minority of people, but they were upset that it was called a movie. And I'm just like,
guys,
come on, what do you want?
Yeah.
What are you gonna do? Release a mini season?
Yeah.
You're not gonna do that. Vince Gilligan was very intentional. He's just like, I can fit this epilogue in this 2-hour thing, and it just so happens to be called a movie. But you're right, it doesn't follow. I think that's where people could be thrown off. It's it's not a movie in the sense that you're like, all right, opening. We're gonna find conflict somewhere. Here's the villain. We're gonna defeat the villain, and everything's great. It's not like that. It's very true to what happened in Breaking Bad in the past, all the events that happened, and it just pays a lot of respect to that source material.
It brought back the best thing I liked about Breaking Bad, that it was methodical.
Yes.
And it focused on the mundanity of things.
Yeah.
Are we in spoilers yet?
Almost.
We'll get there. Okay.
Yeah.
But the fact that they didn't just decide, hey, let's make a movie follow-up. It was really just, hey, let's get the gang back together and do one more gig, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
Right? Loved it.
And I think we will start talking cameos, and this is when we're going to start talking spoilers and stuff, is that I think the cameos were very smart and not overused. Because you could have easily been like, here's Gus Fring, here's the Whites family, and there's a little bit of Some may say it's a little bit of fan service, and I'm okay with that. Like, you begin the movie with Jonathan Banks, Mike. But for me, that's like a very important character in Jesse's life, right? Like, that was like his...
It was his guiding light.
He was his guiding light, who was also a criminal, but he didn't want to be one. He had his own reasons for it, right? So here's a couple cameos, and this is definitely where spoilers are going to happen.
Tune out.
Jesse Plemons, who plays...
I wouldn't call it a cameo. That's like a straight up supporting role.
Yeah, he had a supporting role. But this is all the supporting / cameos.
Like the comebacks, yeah. Cool.
Jesse Plemons, who plays Todd, who I love this character because he's such a psycho. He is such a...
There are Jessies everywhere.
Yeah.
We can't control them.
Jesse Plemons is great. Although he gained weight, and that's unfortunate. You can't really control that. I mean, like he looks a lot different than he did 6 years ago in the finale.
Don't we all?
Yeah, but I think he's so good as this character, as well as Game Night. He's really funny in Game Night.
Yes. Oh my god, yes.
Yeah.
So good.
But I really like Todd's character, and we can talk a little bit about that kind of stuff afterwards.
Yeah.
Jonathan Banks, Matt L. Jones, and Charles Baker, who play Badger and Skinny, which was really great to see those two come back in a big way, too, I think.
In a very emotionally satisfying way.
Yeah, surprisingly.
Like, true to their characters, but... Man, I really dug what they did with them.
Yes.
Like, it was a good wrap-up for Jesse Pinkman, but it was a good wrap-up for those guys, too.
Especially Skinny.
Especially him.
Especially Skinny. And I guess we could just talk about that now real quick, because it's all we have to say is that he idolizes Jesse.
Idolizes?
Yeah, he's his hero, man.
Really?
Yeah, he says, "You're my hero, man." That's why he's doing all this stuff. And for me, it's just like, I think that's such a cool little button to his character. Or at least, like, you get to know more. Because these characters used to just be either... dicks or just comedic relief, right? And they do a lot of that in this movie. But for him to be like, "You're my hero, man," it was like a really nice, sweet moment. I thought it was just like, no, they're like brothers in that way, right?
Yeah. On the topic of Skinny Pete, Hollywood, please watch this teaser trailer and do more of this. Where the trailer is really just a deleted scene from the movie.
Yeah,
so cool.
So cool.
Yeah.
We have Kristen Ritter, who comes at the very end, which is awesome.
You know, okay, can I ask you a question on this? When she showed up, I was like, was this footage from the show that they never used?
Because she looks the same?
Yeah, and it, like, they matched the... I mean, I could tell because, you know, they use different cameras for this movie. We'll get into that. We're going to get into the technical stuff later. But for like a good 5 seconds, I was like, man, that's cool. They had footage. They kind of planned for this stuff. But yeah, they obviously filmed it.
Yeah, they obviously filmed it. Yeah, it looks that good. We have the late Robert Forster. Legend, and such a good performance in this movie.
I like... pumped my fists when he showed up on screen because I love Robert Forster.
Yeah,
and when he showed up in the Breaking Bad series, like literally that last episode, right? I think he was only in the last episode.
Was that the last? Didn't he come back before in the van?
You never see him until the last episode.
Oh,
at least that's my recollection.
Can't remember that.
Anyway, when he showed up in this movie, I was like, man, this is such a treat.
Yes, and an extended time with him, too, and his character.
And again, like, not really a cameo. It was a good part of the movie.
Yeah.
Not long, but
long enough.
An essential part.
And you, I thought that was great. And you get to, like, learn a lot about, like, I don't know, his, like, how he conducts his own business, right?
I really appreciated that for a guy who... he created this character 6 years ago for, I don't know, probably like a week's work.
Yeah.
Right, for that one episode.
Yeah.
He came back and just nailed it again.
Yeah.
He was exactly the same. Was it the direction? Was it him?
Probably
like, how do you tap into that? Like, I was so impressed by what he did.
Yeah, that was really good.
Yeah.
Last but not least, we have Bryan Cranston, who comes back as Walter White.
Yeah.
Now, my question, how did you feel about that?
I did a double fist pump when that happened.
Great.
Because we got our heroes walking down the hallway to the camera.
So good. Yeah.
Oh, man. So good. I was freaking out, but I don't really understand what the point of that scene was.
I love that scene.
I loved it too, but why did they include that? That felt like the most fan servicey. I mean, I don't like that term as a pejorative.
Sure. So of course Bryan Cranston had to come back for this movie, right?
Did he?
In the way that like to some point they have to feed into this fan service a little bit for a Breaking Bad movie, and I don't think they overplay it. It's not like Bryan Cranston's in the movie for more than 5 minutes.
I think Walter White had to be in this movie as much as Bruce Wayne had to be in The Joker. Right?
Sure, but I think it does play into
Okay, so what was the point of his scene?
So my take from it was that, well, first, this movie is very heavy on flashbacks. So I think that's where Aaron Paul's acting comes into play, which I really want to celebrate. Take a moment to say, like, Aaron Paul also acts his dick off in the way that...
Sure.
He plays all the versions of Jesse.
He's great in the movie.
He plays every single version of Jesse that we've ever seen. The one that is more optimistic and like, yo, Mr. White, yeah, bitch. Like, he plays that version, but he also plays the very broken version of Jesse. He plays the
in love version of Jesse.
Exactly. So he does all of that stuff, and I think that's great. So when we see Walter, or Bryan Cranston's character come in, we're seeing him at when Jesse was young and foolish, right?
Yeah.
And I think it gives us a little bit more color, I guess, in the past of how they used to interact with each other. But I think the biggest line that I took away from it was what Walter said at the very end, his last line to Jesse, which was something along the lines of like, you're so lucky to have found something so special so young in your life. And that's such a sad thing to say to somebody, because he's just talking about like making meth and making all this money, right? But that's like, it's such a good window of like, this is Walt's mind that is obviously, it's not right, but this is like the start of him Breaking Bad, but also kind of like what Jesse remembers of this man too. I think that's kind of like an interesting thing for me to like latch on to.
I think I completely missed that line. I think I had too much blood flowing through my head to fully take in that scene. I've been meaning to rewatch this movie, and I will. This is a definite rewatcher.
This is a definitely rewatch.
Oh yeah.
This is like a watch the whole series again and then watch this movie.
Yes. But after the scene ended, I kind of thought it was racing through my head. Okay, did Bryan Cranston shave his head for this role?
Yeah.
When did this take place in the show? And I was trying to like calculate all the
right. So you weren't like in the moment. You're kind of like thinking of the other stuff.
Yeah. So I'm glad you remembered that line,
because I remember not only that line. It's just like this thing that he thought was so special for Bryan Cranston, for Walter, is the thing that caused all of the shit in Jesse's life. Right? The special thing is like, oh no, this is why Jesse has to run away and be someone else and get a new identity. And I think that's like a really beautiful thing, I think.
How long did it take you to pinpoint the moment that this flashback occurred in the series?
I didn't think about it.
What?
I didn't. It was just like I was just thinking like it just had to have happened very early on.
Oh, you're just thinking, oh, cool, it's a flashback.
It's a flashback that happened very early on before Jesse was good at making meth.
Okay.
That's kind of like, this is probably something that happens somewhere between seasons 2 and a bit, maybe?
As soon as he says, leave the picture, that's when I knew it was right after they got stranded in the desert. Yeah.
Okay, that's good.
They're on their way back.
So season 1.
And they're stuck. Yeah. Wait, season 1? Maybe it was 2.
No, I don't know.
I don't remember.
I don't know. It doesn't matter.
Breaking Bad is one just giant piece of media.
That's right.
Yeah.
Closing thoughts on this movie here. I also think it's a fantastic. Closing thoughts for me is a fantastic epilogue that didn't need to exist, but it's so glad it does. To people who think it's boring, 'cause I've seen that. It's boring. I just think, why do you even like Breaking Bad if you don't like this?
Yeah.
Like,
that's
I don't like being the person who says you didn't get it. But I have to say, if you don't like this, then you really didn't get it.
Yeah. Breaking Bad was one of those shows where I'm a pretty open-minded person, right?
Yeah.
And everyone's free to like what they want.
It's true.
If you say that you dislike Breaking Bad, I just straight up think you don't get cinema. Like, it's a TV show, but I say you don't get cinema. It's such a good...
But what do you say for the people who liked Breaking Bad, and this is like a real example of someone I know, liked Breaking Bad, but disliked this movie with a passion. How is that possible?
I say, loosen up, man.
Maybe it doesn't have the high stakes type of like action that happens in Breaking Bad. There are action scenes that are thrilling. Like, you know, there's really fun scenes with like everything that happened in Jesse Plemons' apartment. I thought was really fun. I thought the Wild West shootout was silly.
It was silly.
But I was okay with it. It was pretty silly. That's a ballsy move to come in like that. But
hey, I want to make a spaghetti western. Well, let's throw it in the Breaking Bad movie.
It was silly, but I liked it. And there was some intensity to it.
And there was a Breaking Bad twist where it just didn't end the way you expected.
Yeah. I don't know.
Sweet,
it just seems like the only criticism that I would have to this movie before to his closing thoughts here.
Okay.
It's not really criticism. I just think it's more of like a missed opportunity. I was thinking about this and I'm just like, I'm glad we saw every single side of Jesse. The only side that I miss seeing in this movie in particular was his chemistry side, everything that he's learned from Walter.
Okay.
So for me, it's like Jesse got really good at being better in conflict in like tense situations. He's better at being like covert ops, like sneaking around and doing all this other stuff. Better at negotiating and being smart in that way.
Self-interest.
Yes, that's right. But the only thing I was missing in this movie was like any type of carry-on skills that he learned from Walter.
Carry-on.
He learned so much chemistry from Walter White, right?
Okay.
So I wish to have seen any type of like applied science part of this movie.
Like a cook scene?
Didn't have to be a cook scene. It could have been like this. It could have been like
let's make a smoke bomb.
Like make a smoke bomb out of like baking soda and a thing. Like just it would have been like a nice little way to be like acknowledge that everything's happened in the movie, because he learned one of the greatest things about Jesse's arc in the show is that he becomes really smart and
he becomes a master.
He becomes a master of chemistry, right? So it would have been cool to see one last time him do something. And they didn't have to say like, "Oh, Walter taught me this." He could have just done it and just threw in a smoke bomb or something. I thought that would have been a nice touch.
Didn't even occur to me that was missing from the movie. But fair point. Yeah. I would have dug it.
It would have been cool. The movie's fine as it is.
Yeah.
It's just a very small nitpick. I thought that would have been a nice little thing to go along with the theme of him growing up and moving forward with his life. But to be able to do that, he has to kind of use all the messy skills that he's learned along the way to escape his past.
Yeah.
Anyways.
How much more time do we have? Because I have a few things I want to talk about with this show.
But the show?
But the movie.
Oh, okay, go ahead.
So, first thing that stood out to me is, okay, it's in CinemaScope. It's not in just regular widescreen.
Yeah.
And was clearly shot 35 mil or probably digitally.
Yeah.
Whereas the original was 16 millimeter. You know, it was grainy.
Wow.
It was gritty. So totally different look, but they made it tie in really well. I'm just not used to seeing this universe and the characters with such a creamy look and lens. And,
Yeah.
And if my memory serves me right, Breaking Bad was mostly like handheld and kind of verite, whereas this movie was crane shots and steady. Like, not to say that the budget seemed higher, but it looked. There was a subtly different look. It was an upgrade.
Sure.
Right?
Yes. Yeah. That's where I would go with it. Yeah. There's definitely an upgrade. Yeah.
I love that stuff.
Yeah. And he's so good at doing like awesome shots. There's some really cool stuff, especially with the
when he breaks
the
into
El Camino thing, the El Camino car, and the lights that go like up and
Yes.
down. There's like a really cool thing, and I was like, oh shit! Like,
Okay, so one of my favorite shots in the movie. It's a long take, possibly the longest in the movie. I keep calling it show.
Yeah,
I'm such a Hollywood guy.
Yeah.
It's when he breaks into the like the not the junkyard, but what's
car,
that? The garage thing, right?
Whatever. I know
he's like shaking the lock, and then he hops the fence, and then he ducks behind the car, and then he goes to shoot the guy, but then the other guys show up, and it's this long, like 2-minute take. Beautiful stuff.
It's good stuff.
I love it.
It was good stuff.
Oh, speaking of which, have you heard of a show called The Mick? M-I-C-K?
With Caitlin Olsen?
Yeah.
Okay.
M-I-C-K.
Yeah.
Did you ever see it?
No.
It's good.
Yeah.
It's
it got
really
canceled.
funny. They got canceled after 2 seasons.
Yeah.
Anyway, there's a guy in that show. He plays a character named Jimmy.
Yeah.
And he's the actor who plays like the new villain in this movie. I can't remember his name.
Right.
But he runs the candy.
Yeah. Oh, that was... I love that.
Yeah, he was the guy who did the shootout.
Yeah.
Right? I didn't recognize him at all until the flashback of when Jesse's tied up.
Mm-hmm.
He's an awesome actor, and I was so pumped to see him like getting a pretty big role.
Yeah, he was the villain of the...
He's the villain,
movie,
yeah.
But it was... I really like how they tied that like simple character into this story, right? So that was really... That was neat.
I get why they did it, but it did feel a little weird that they invented this person who, hey guys, he was part of the story all along, but you just never saw him. And
Yeah,
now
he was
he's
such a
the big
small
bad.
part of it. Even in the flashback, you can tell he was not even a big deal.
He was just
there
hired to
and
weld
like
some things.
exactly, and this he just so happened to have also wanted to steal the money. So not like a major villain, just like
Did you think he was was it a good performance, or am I just biased? Cause
I liked it.
Yeah?
I liked it. Yeah. Totally.
Sweet.
All right, let's go into our final movie here. Jesse, how you feeling?
I'm feeling very good.
Dandy?
I feel like we're going at a breakneck speed.
No, we've been talking for a long time.
Do people? Well, what time? An hour 13?
We've been talking a long time.
Man, this is speeding by quickly.
Hey, that's what happens when friends talk with one another. That's the power of friendship.
Do we have like a deadline for this show? What's your average runtime here?
We're on pace.
Yeah?
We're on pace. Don't like to go too long.
Don't like to go too long.
It can get long.
What about bonus episodes?
Bonus episodes yet to be seen, but maybe one day.
Maybe today.
Let's go into our final topic here. It's the funny thing is that the show, all the shows that I've ever done, podcasting wise, starts small and then it gets like super long. It just becomes like, oh, this show, it's gonna be a 45-minute show, simple, and then it becomes like an hour and a half. Now ranked, my top 5 list of stuff that don't matter on the Pod Cavern always inches towards an hour 40 to 2 hours, which is the original intent was that show to be an hour. I do my best to keep on track.
Cool.
All right, final thing.
How am I doing, by the way?
You're doing fantastic.
For a first timer?
First time ever. So, I mean...
All right.
Might be your last time.
What?
We are going into the final topic here. Now, this is... See, this is what happens with live producing. See? Final topic here is Zombieland Double Tap. Now, I know you haven't seen it, so this might be an open conversation for you to ask me questions.
Can I pretend like I saw it?
You can.
I don't want to deceive anybody.
No, well, I mean, you should have done your homework. No, that's okay. So I'll talk about things, and I'll try not to spoil the movie for you.
Okay.
Although I think...
Can I say, because we've been spoiling the movies, just go for it, man.
Sure. Yeah. All right. I was going to do it anyways. I just don't think that it matters for this type of movie.
All right, fair.
As a zom-com, which I've just learned that's the new genre.
What other zom-coms are there?
Shaun of the Dead.
Okay. It's a thing.
Yeah. All right, so this is 10 years after the original Zombieland, not only in this movie itself, but from when the original Zombieland was made.
Oh, nice.
So, starring Emma Stone, Jesse Eisenberg, Abigail Breslin, and Woody Harrelson, who are all Academy Award nominees, except for Emma Stone, who is a winner. Which is insane, right? Like, they've come so far, I guess. Yeah. But it's cool to see the whole gang get packed together. We have a couple new people in the fray too, which I will touch upon, like some of my favorite performances. But we have Zoe Dutch, Rosario Dawson, who I love, Luke Wilson, who's great, Thomas Middleditch. I don't know how to say his name, but
Middleditch.
No, Middleditch. I know that, but Avon Jogia.
Sorry,
Avon Jogia. I'm not sure.
Can I try?
Go ahead.
Avan Yogia.
Sure. Hopefully that wasn't offensive to anyone. Let's see. Synopsis: Zombie Slayers Tallahassee, Columbus, Wichita, and Little Rock leave the confines of the White House to travel to Graceland in Memphis, Tennessee. Along the way, they encounter other post-apocalyptic warriors and a group of survivors who find refuge in a commune. The scrappy fighters must now rely on their wits and weapons more than ever as they soon find themselves in a relentless battle against smarter, faster, and seemingly indestructible zombies. Now, I think this might be easier if you ask me some questions, I suppose.
That's all I can really do here.
Yeah.
Okay, so my first question, and sorry for being kind of lame, but I like Luke Wilson.
Yeah.
I really like Thomas Middleditch.
Me too.
The trailer kind of made it out to be like, oh, just be a cameo. Do they have real roles in this movie, or is it like a 2-minute scene?
They are in it. It's not a 2-minute scene, but it's not a long time that Luke Wilson and Thomas Middleditch just stay in the.
Okay, so they're there for a gag.
There's a lot of longer than a gag, but it's like a lot of this is they find like their doppelganger. Mm-hmm. So Thomas Middleditch plays a character very similar to Jesse Eisenberg. Luke Wilson's very close to Woody Harrelson. Rosario Dawson plays really similar to Emma Stone's character. Okay. That kind of thing. But no, they stay in it for a little longer than you think, but they're not main characters in the movie. Okay. For sure. Interesting. I would say out of everyone, Zoe Dutch has the longest role in the movie, or a more prominent, like more than supporting actor. I would say she's probably one of the main characters in the movie.
She's the ditzy girl.
The ditzy girl, and amazing performance. Amazing performance. Probably one of my favorite performances in the entire movie. She definitely has, because it's a risk in my mind to play that really ditzy valley girl kind of thing, and I was like, am I gonna get tired of this?
Yeah.
But she knocks it out of the park. She's so good in the role.
It's hard to do that and not get grating.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So, cool.
I didn't find it annoying at all. I found they played it very well with her character especially. So for me, a character that stood out to me was her character for sure. Madison, I believe it is. The 4 main characters, it feels like they didn't miss a beat. Like, they are so funny, and comedic timing is just perfect. I mean, Jesse Eisenberg to me always has a very certain type of humor, which is his awkward humor, but he plays it so well, so I really like it.
Here's a question.
Yeah.
Did you prep for this movie? Did you watch Zombieland 1 going into this?
Not to prep. Like, I actually watched Zombieland 1 a month ago for our top 5 zombies episode.
Oh, okay.
So I actually ended up watching it pretty recently.
Cool. Does it flow well?
Yes. Yeah. I really like this movie. Do I like it more than the first movie? I think the first one is a little bit more interesting because it's the first time you get exposed to the world. But I'm shocked at how good this movie is for being a sequel. Wow. And it didn't pull the Zoolander 2 or Dumb and Dumberer or like Anchorman 2 even though I think that's a better one of those sequels. I think this movie is like, oh, this is a proper sequel that I had a lot of fun with. Yeah. So I definitely recommend just like jumping into that world one more time, and just like, it's just fun. It's funny. There's a lot of cool action. And a lot of the gags that they do are still good. Okay. And Woody Harrelson, I think, is so funny in this role in particular. So it was a joy to come back to that.
You know, when you say the actors have grown a lot in the last 10 years, I was thinking, well, Woody Harrelson hasn't really that much, but he has, like, True Detective and...
Yeah.
I mean, wow, I'm blanking, but he's
done a lot of serious roles.
He's bigger. Like, he's definitely expanded his career in the last 10 years.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, I'm looking forward to it. It just... Zombieland 1, I watched it back in the day once. I liked it, but...
Holds up.
Never felt the need to revisit it.
That's fair.
I do want to see this. Like, if it hits Netflix or something, I'll watch it.
It's the Zombieland, the first one is like, I think would be considered a cult classic.
Yeah. Okay.
And that's probably why this movie like came to be, is because so many people love that first movie that they wanted to see the second one or a second one. And yeah, I think it's totally worth watching. Cool. Even going back to the first one, like it's on Netflix. You should. You know what's great about these movies is they're only like an hour and 40 minutes.
Yeah.
And that is an amazing thing in this day and age.
Yeah.
A beautiful runtime. It respects your time.
Unlike this show.
Unlike
sorry, not this show. This episode.
This show, we do not respect your time.
I take full responsibility. Here's a question. I don't remember in the first Zombieland, were these 4 characters like the last humans alive?
No, they just so happen to have found each other.
Okay, I just don't remember that many other characters except for one.
Yeah, because they only see as many characters as they want you to hang out with in this as part of the survivors group, right?
So when this extended cast shows up, it's not like, oh my god, there are more?
No, I mean, these characters already know that there's more people out in the world, and you do see the commune of people later.
Okay.
So there's definitely people who survive. And, like, a great thing what they do is... What I love about what they do is basically they're no longer scared of zombies at all. Like, zombies... This is, like, literally 10 years after they discovered zombies.
Okay.
And now it's just kind of, like... Oh, we kind of already know there's, like, different types of zombies and this is how to handle them. And they go into situations much more, like, calm about it. Like, there's definitely some freak out moments where, like, oh, no, maybe I'm going to get bit. But it's mostly, like, just, like, they accept zombies for what it is.
It's like we're picking weeds.
Exactly. Yeah, they're like, all right, let's... I'll take this one. You go do whatever you got. I'll get it really quick. And they start naming different types of zombies in the way that it's like... some zombies are homers. This is a real example. And homers are like Homer Simpson in the way that they're really dumb, like really dumb zombies.
Yeah.
And then you have like your I forget what they call them. It's not Einstein. It's like your Hawkings, your Stephen Hawkings.
Okay.
But they're like smarter zombies. So they start like categorizing them because they've been in this world for so long, which I thought was really neat.
That's clever.
Yeah, it's clever.
Have the characters changed? Because when they announced this movie and the trailer showed up, I was thinking, oh, have they just been the same people for 10 years? Like, I've changed so much in 10 years.
Yeah.
Have they...
They're more or less the same except for Abigail Breslin's character, because
Yeah.
she's the one who noticeably has... Like, she
Grew
was
up.
13 when this original movie came out. Now she's 23. So her character is going more of a, like, teenage or pubescent, like, adolescent, like, phase of, like, I want to find a boy, or, like, I want to, like, go on a date, or, like, I want to do some, like, kids stuff, because I keep hanging out with you same people.
Yeah.
And then, like, Woody Harrelson's character is more, like, trying to be, like, a father figure, but poorly, because, like, he would... Little Rock, Abigail Breslin's character, would be, like, his, like, daughter, in a way.
Yeah.
But other than that, no, they're pretty true to their characters with, like, little growth, but, like, enough that you're, like, it's not shocking.
So, if they haven't changed that much... Well, I guess this has nothing to do with that. But if they aren't scared of the zombies, what are the stakes in this movie?
Well, there is a different breed of zombies that come out.
Okay.
So they're like more like your Terminator zombies that are harder to kill.
Robot zombies?
No, they're just like, I forget what they call them. T-800s. They literally name it after like
They call them a T-800?
Yeah, they call them T-800s and they like take way longer to kill.
Hang on a sec.
Yeah.
Is Arnold in this movie?
No, he's not. I wish.
Is Robert Patrick in this movie?
No. None.
Linda Hamilton?
Yes.
Oh, what?
No. No, that's like the threat, but that's not really. It's still kind of like the relationships and stuff like that. Like, very minor spoilers, but like, Abigail Breslin's character, she kind of goes off and does her own thing, and then it becomes a thing where like we gotta find her, or we gotta go get her because she kind of abandoned the family kind of thing, and then there's like internal family conflict between the characters, and that's where the conflict exists. It's not actually the zombies.
Okay.
Nor is it ever, I think, the zombies in most zombie movies. It's like, that's the threat, but the real villains are the humans. There's a lesser version of this in this movie. Like, it's obviously a comedy.
The villains were in us the whole time.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
Exactly.
So it's kind of like... not a family drama, but I know what you're saying.
Yeah, there's definitely some of that. Yeah.
Okay.
And then because they go to try to track her down, they have to leave the safety of the White House, which is where their safe house was. And now they have to like go back on the road and find these people. And they run into some people that are seemingly nice, but sometimes they turn to zombies, that kind of thing.
Okay.
Yeah. There's a really great zombie moment in the movie. Spoilers, it's with Luke Wilson and Thomas Middleditch. And when they turn into zombies, it's awesome.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah,
Nice.
It's really cool. The only character that I didn't care for was that character, Avon whatever's character. I didn't think it was that great. Also, can I just say something?
Yes.
This is not the movie's fault at all.
Okay.
It was the theater that I was in, and
no.
I do my best to still be an avid moviegoer because I want to support the arts. But I think fucking people suck in the movie theaters. I've always talked about this in the way that people use their cell phones, ringers go off, whatever. This might be one of the worst movie things that has happened.
What day of the week did you go?
It was like a Friday, I think it was.
Opening night?
Or it was like a Sunday. It was like a Sunday.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it was the opening weekend.
Yeah, all right.
Now, get this. This is a rated R movie.
Okay.
I think it is. I think it's rated R. And there was like a 13-year-old date going on in the back row. We were a couple rows ahead of that. But in the back row, you have this couple who is lying down, like this girl's lying down on this guy's lap.
Mm-hmm.
They're constantly kissing, like just loud kissing. And they're talking. She specifically is talking very loudly, being in like a very cutesy way, like in like a first date kind of way, like young adult way, which is like, oh, you're so funny, but like not talking about the movie. And then she did the thing where like it's in the trailers where that weed smoker pulls up a bag of weed, and before he does that, he's just like, do I look like someone who smokes weed? And she literally yelled out, yes, you do. And it was awful. It was awful.
That's
for that.
so bad. Oh my god. It's been a while since I've experienced that.
It was bad.
Oof.
It was bad. And
where were you sitting? Were you like a row right in front of them?
we were like 3 to 4 rows ahead.
And you could still hear the kissing?
We heard the kissing, a lot of like too loud of a laughter, not like a like laughing at the movie kind of, like it's just like an obnoxious kind of laughter, you know what I mean? So wasn't into that. Anything else you want to ask me about Zombieland before we close it out?
2 questions.
Yeah.
Best moment.
Best moment for me was definitely the Thomas Middleditch and Luke Wilson zombie turn moment. Okay. I think was cool. Just like that action scene was really good. And best actress of the movie for me was Zoe Dutch's character. I thought she was great.
Worst moment.
Worst moment, I think the final act is a little bit messy, which is probably why it doesn't top the original Zombieland. I think
that's regular for a sequel, I think.
Yeah. Like, I was just like, nah, I'm not completely sure if I loved how they, like, tied this to this moment, but I didn't hate it. I was just like, it wasn't as clean as the beginning parts of the movie, I think. Yeah.
Sweet. Who's
one last thing.
Okay.
Because this is a spoiler. There is a Bill Murray cameo in this.
I was gonna ask.
Yes.
I forgot, but thank you.
So the very end of the movie, if you don't, you have to stay to the end of the credits. It's just like you gotta wait like 30 seconds into the credits, and they show an entire Bill Murray cameo scene of obviously when he was alive, which he's like talking about Garfield 3 and stuff like that, and then like one of his like interviewers or the cameraman, I forget what happens, they turn into a zombie, and then we have this like good minute sequence where Bill Murray is kicking ass and killing zombies.
Really?
Oh, it was so good.
That sounds funny.
It was really fun.
Just a long extended take. He's
just like literally like picking stuff up and just killing zombies and it was awesome.
That's sweet.
Yeah.
For the record, I don't like mid-credit sequences. Put it at the end.
Oh.
Reward the hardcore fans.
Well,
it's weak to put it midway through.
That's fine.
Come on.
Some movies you don't expect it. That's the thing. My gripe is people who leave.
I grew up with Iron Man and Iron Man 2 and all the old ones where you had to stay to the real end.
The old ones like 10 years ago.
Yeah. Like the oldies. The classics.
My pet peeve is the people who hear that there's a mid-credit sequence going on, like they're about to leave and they hear that the mid-credit sequence is going on and they still leave.
Oh god. My big, number one pet peeve in movies, people who leave like a good 5 minutes before the end. It's like, are you trying to beat the crowd? Don't you care about the movie you paid to see?
This isn't like a concert or something like that. Like, you're not gonna be stuck in traffic trying to leave the parking lot.
It's like, guys, the climax is happening right now.
Yeah.
Are you crazy?
Are you crazy? Yeah. Jesse, we're at the end of the show, but there's a couple more things I don't want to go through.
Good. So we're not at the end.
We're almost.
I don't want to say goodbye.
We always have to say goodbye one day. That's what makes it so special. Things that you're excited about in November, if you thought about it.
Oh, yeah.
Is there anything that stands out to you?
Well, maybe I'll pull up IMDb a bit later. But Irishman.
Yeah.
Wow.
Is that November?
Irishman. That's how you pronounce it. Yeah, it's November.
When?
It's out in limited release November 1st.
And then it'll go on Netflix like the end of the month?
Netflix is on the 27th.
Right.
I'm very torn. I want to support Scorsese's vision of doing this in a theater, but I got to drive like 2 hours to get to a theater.
Yeah, it gets kind of ridiculous.
And November's a really busy month for me.
Fair.
Also, it's 3.5 hours long, which I am stoked for. I know you're not super thrilled about that.
It's longer than 3.5, right? Isn't it like 3 hours 40 or something like that?
Load me up. Like Scorsese, my time is yours.
Wow.
Right? But I would like to have the power to pause that for bathroom breaks.
Exactly.
Right? And, I have a pretty nice TV and nice speakers, and, you don't have to deal with
I'll watch it with you, but that's a long movie. I'm fine. I've watched a lot of long movies this year, but anyways.
But see, like, it's such a precious thing to me. Like, it's amazing to me that we live in the same time as Scorsese.
He's great.
It's just
another gangster film. Though, we'll have to see.
I'm never gonna take that for granted, right? And so I want to see it in the theater, but it's a nice luxury to do it at home and so soon afterwards.
Here's a couple things that I'll mention, and maybe you'll add on to this. Luigi's Mansion 3 comes out. Oh boy. This is at the end.
What 3?
Luigi's Mansion. You know Luigi?
With
Mario
the
and
vacuum
Luigi
cleaner?
with a vacuum cleaner. Third one's coming out
Never played it.
at the end of October, so it's technically not November news.
So why are you mentioning it?
Because it's the very end of October, and we're recording this episode too early.
You asked me what about November.
I know, but I'm telling you an October thing. And a couple other things that I want to say that is still October stuff that I'm very sad is Lighthouse and Jojo Rabbit. I definitely want to see them both. Disney Plus is launching in November. That's big news.
Yes. Yes.
Rick and Morty. You don't care about this stuff, but I'm going to say it anyways. Death Stranding. Have you ever heard of this game?
Have heard about this game.
You know Hideo Kojima?
I'm not going to play it because I don't have a PlayStation, but
that's fine.
I love that the trailers make it look insane.
Yeah.
Like, just truly off the wall.
His brain is insane.
I will watch some Let's Plays and some walkthroughs and stuff like that. Yeah.
Cool. Maybe we'll do one and you can come on.
Ooh, nice. Can I chime in?
Yeah.
Terminator.
Yes, I have that here. Dark Fate.
Yes.
Sequel. Finally a real sequel.
It's the real Terminator 3.
That's right.
It's ignoring everything else.
It should. New Pokemon game's coming out.
Game?
Yeah, a new Pokemon game.
What kind of game?
It's on the Nintendo Switch, Pokemon Sword and Shield.
Is it the classic overhead where you're going around?
Yeah, but it's going to look a lot prettier, I think, because it's actually on a console and not like a Game Boy.
It's not like first person or Zelda style?
No.
Okay.
It's not that fancy.
So it's like classic,
but
obviously not flat, but...
Yeah, I think it's classic, but it's just has the power of a real console rather than like solely a handheld device.
Yeah, all right.
Cool. It's kind of interesting. Google Stadia is coming out.
Are you going to sign up?
No. But I think it's interesting.
So are you looking forward to this?
Well, I'm very interested in hearing more about it. Okay. Because it's and I don't want to get too deep into it, but I think Google's done a bad job at marketing this thing that was very exciting when they talked about it.
I know. All the things I know about it were from like 4 months ago.
Yeah.
Whenever they
I think now because they're walking back a lot of the stuff that they promised, and walking back when that other stuff will happen.
That blows.
Because before it was like, oh yeah, as long as you have a Google Chrome device or even a computer that can run Chrome, you can use it. But in this November release, it's like, no, you got to have this specific box because the other stuff will come next year. And it's just weird. They haven't really talked about it. I'm very curious about it.
Have you noticed this culture in the tech world where it's like they promise and they slowly roll out these features?
Yeah.
It used to be where you kind of just
like
boom,
drop it,
launch it, it's done, update it later.
What do you think about Dr. Sleep coming out? That's the Ewan McGregor Shining sequel.
I am very excited. I'm a big Stanley Kubrick fan. And I've always thought to myself, how egregious would it be to make a sequel to a Kubrick movie?
Yeah.
Right? If I ever become a Hollywood director...
Yep.
I would love
you become a Hollywood director.
Cheers, baby.
That's right.
Yeah. I would love to make the statement, like, if I ever make a remake or sequel, I'm going to do something egregious. Like, let's remake Clockwork Orange, because there's no reason to, right?
Yeah.
And that's how I should be feeling about this Dr. Sleep thing.
Right.
But I'm pumped. I have to say, like, I like that it's based on Stephen King's novel.
That's right.
It's not just...
we're
Warner Brothers and we're gonna use our IP.
Yeah.
But I don't really like movies where there is like children in distress and like this underground group of ragtag, and
Sure.
it just kind of seems like that's what this movie's going for.
Yeah, I don't know. Apparently, positive reviews have poured in, which I'm shocked because I didn't care for the trailer that much. I like Ewan McGregor a lot, but Michelle Pfeiffer's character I thought was really cheesy in the trailer because she says a line that I think is hilarious, but it's just not what I think about when I think about The Shining. And she said something like this. You underestimate my power, or something ridiculous, like, you don't know my true power. I'm like, what is this movie?
Yeah, that's the kind of stuff I'm kind of scared about.
Yeah.
I like Rebecca Ferguson. I don't think I've ever seen her outside of Mission Impossible. But
No.
I'd like to see...
Apparently she's good in the movie.
She's good in Mission Impossible.
Ford versus Ferrari comes out next month, too.
Such a dad movie.
It's a dad movie, but...
I'm down.
Christian Bale and Matt Damon.
How can you say no to that?
I can't. I won't.
I mean, it could be just Matt Damon. And it'd sign me up.
Knives Out.
Okay, can we go back to that one?
Yeah. This
is What's-His-Face's follow-up to Logan. Which is great. Duder.
Wow. I'm
hey
blanking.
Siri, who directed Logan?
Which one?
Which one? Logan Lucky, of course.
Yeah.
Logan.
Well,
Logan was directed by James Mangold.
that's right, James
Thank
Mangold.
Thank you, phone.
That's right.
Thank you.
Oh, that was way more work than you needed to be.
Dumb. Anyway, I loved Logan.
That's
and
right.
I don't think I've ever seen another film by
Mangold movie.
Mangold. Yeah.
He did the Wolverine.
Didn't see it.
Yeah, it's not as good as Logan.
I heard it blew.
All
right.
Knives Out.
Not interested.
No?
No.
Really?
Yeah.
You don't like that Clue type of movie? Lots of cool, not cool, but like lots of big actors in that movie.
Yeah, the trailer comes across as not pretentious, but very full of itself.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm very excited for that movie. 21 Bridges. Chadwick Boseman.
That looks bad. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
They showed a trailer before The Lighthouse, which we didn't talk about, by the way.
Well, we shouldn't talk about it because you'll end up spoiling it.
Will I?
Yeah.
I'm pretty good about spoilers.
All we need to know is if you liked it.
I liked it.
And Ron Pattinson and Willem Dafoe were good?
Very good.
All right. That's all I need to know.
They get their moments. They get several
Fantastic.
of them. They're
great.
Anyway, they showed a trailer before that, and yeah, that looks so forgettable.
I don't know. I'm just naming movies that are like not more that I'm looking forward to, but some movies that are coming out that are bigger than like a whatever movie.
This is gonna be this year's Den of Thieves, I think. Yeah,
that's a good example.
It's like, I mean, sure, it's gonna be fine.
Yeah.
But do I want to pay money for this?
Probably not.
Even if I watch it on Netflix.
You paid money for Hellboy, didn't you? With me.
I blame you for that one.
Yeah, it's on Amazon. We can watch it after. Okay. Last thing is this movie is coming out last Christmas in November. I'm just.
What's Last Christmas?
Well, Last Christmas has Henry Golding and Amelia Clark. Henry Golding is from Crazy Rich Asians, the main character in that movie, and Amelia Clark is Daenerys.
Yeah.
And I'm more curious because it's a Christmas movie in November, but I guess that's where we are. I forget that Christmas movies sometimes come out in November, and it seems too soon.
Hey, I went into a bookstore about a week ago, and they were selling Christmas decorations. It's not even Halloween yet.
It's not even Halloween?
Yeah.
Ah, boy. Jesse, thank you for being on the podcast. How do you feel?
I had such a blast.
I'm glad.
I had fun. You know what? This was a little more easier than I expected.
Hey, you are a natural.
Especially with the camera. You know, I thought I'd be self-conscious, and maybe there was a little bit of that, but...
you don't have to look at it. I didn't even... Now I'm looking at you.
I stared at the camera a lot. I was hamming it up whenever you were reading the iPad. I was giving the audience looks.
Oh, wow.
Some looksies.
Good for you. That doesn't play on the audio, by the way, so you're going to have to find a way to cater them.
I know that. On the audio, it'll just be like, I'm respecting you.
That's right. Mm-hmm. What do you think of, what kind of plugs do you have?
Plugs?
Yeah, is there anything else going on in your life that you want to plug for the audience? You have your own stuff going on.
Yeah, but does this audience really care about my stuff?
I would plug it. I mean, if they enjoy you, they might enjoy what you do.
Well, I started a little mini side gig as a photographer.
Great.
Which I've got a
Where can the people
big
find you?
passion in. Oh, I guess you can find me at andartdoc on Instagram.
Andartdoc.
Or andartdoc.com.
Excellent. Great.
ANDARTDOC.
.com.
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 There you go.
There you go.
I'm only going to say it once.
Amazing.
I didn't think I would ever plug that, but...
hey,
whatever.
You plug what you got.
Whatever. That's all I got.
There you go. And for me, of course, you can find the rest of the shows in the Pod Cavern. So many exciting things happening. Like we have ranked top 5 list of stuff that don't matter. We have the Improv Punch Up on hiatus, but there's so many episodes you can check out. Cinema Saves the World. We're going to plan on doing another one of those sometime soon. And 2 other shows coming very, very soon. In fact, next week we have Heroes Don't Do Paperwork finally making its debut on the Pod Cavern. So stay tuned for that. And last but not least, Jesse?
Yeah?
Is there anything else you want to say?
Yes.
Okay.
Do you like cream?
Yes. Is that it? Okay. All right. Well, bye, everyone. See ya. See you later.